I'm nervous. So I've never done a real hike in my entire life. Like, yeah, I've done some long walks, I've done some hills, but an actual hike, never. So when my friend suggested in the group chat that we do the Seven Sisters hike, I was like, yeah, sure, you know, it'll be fun. Then I go on TikTok and everyone's saying, oh my gosh, the Seven Sisters hike is so difficult. No one talks about how hard it is. I couldn't even finish the hike. This was me reading all of this.
I don't get nervous, but I'm starting to get a bit shaky, you know what I mean? I'm a little bit weak.
But the day was already here and it was too late to back out. So let's find out how bad it really is. We woke up bright and early to catch the train from London Victoria to Lewes and then Lewes to Seaford. I was pronouncing this as Lewes, but it's actually Lewes. So yeah, I'm glad I've cleared that up. Now in terms of things to bring, we brought a small kind of backpack and we packed a light lunch in there and some water. I would highly recommend that you do the same because there's nowhere to really buy food once you're on the hike. It's only when you get towards the end that there's a small cafe, there's like an ice cream van as well, but yeah, definitely bring some food. If not, right outside Seaford station we saw this market that was selling pastries and baked goods, so maybe you could try there as well. Excited! We are so excited. Things are happening. I never wear a hat. It looks very foreign to me. I feel like a 12-year-old boy. The hat was actually very useful, so I recommend you wear one as well. We're excited. We're literally going to start now. Look. Now my other piece of advice to you is to start the hike as early as possible. It's a hot day. But it's gonna be fine. The earlier you start, the cooler it will be and the easier the hike will be. It was just past 10 a.m. and it was already 23 degrees. The only thing that does help is because you're by the sea, there's obviously a breeze and it is pretty breezy. So as the sun got hotter and hotter during the day, luckily we didn't feel it so much. Nothing's funny anymore. Guys, the first hill of the Seven Sisters hike is not a joke. Please listen to how I'm breathing. It is so steep, it's like you're walking up to go and see God. Doing this made me understand that, yeah, everyone on TikTok was telling the truth. Tired. We made it, but let me tell you, that first cliff was very humbling. Out of 10, I'd give it a 6. Now it's a 6 because yes, you will do steep inclines, but once you make it over the cliff, you actually get to walk on flat land for quite some time.
It's like a reward.
So definitely savor these moments. But also the other reward is of course the stunning views. We weren't on a strict time frame. We didn't really care what time we finished. So we would literally just take some time out to marvel at the views. Now this is the part I personally was not very mentally prepared for. We're gonna have to cross this water, which is very interesting. We're seeing people do it. They're like taking off their shoes. They're taking off their shoes and crossing it. But if you don't cross this, it would take another 2 hours to go round. So we're gonna cross it. So this is the River Cuckmore, and if you're coming from Seaford like we did, you'll find this around 3 miles into your walk. I'm glad I'm wearing shorts anyway, so that I don't need to roll anything up. So I'm just going to take off my socks and my shoes and it'll be fine. Ooh, it's cold! Ooh! I'm not even exaggerating, the water was freezing. And not only is it cold, but because there's algae on the rocks, it's extremely slippery as well. The only saving grace is that we lucked out on this day because it was actually low tide. So the water only came up to just above my knees. The current is extremely strong and was literally pulling me back as I was walking. In high tide, the current is even worse and the water can get as high as 7 meters. So check the tide before you go, and if it is high, I'm so sorry, you're gonna have to do the walk around instead. Bring flip-flops and also bring like a mini towel so that you can wipe the wetness, the sand, the rocks off your foot, and then you can wear your socks and your trainers again. And if you do want to swim, bring some swim trunks, bring a swimsuit. The beaches are pebbly, but it makes for a nice break during the hike. Oyen, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling excited. Happy to be here.
I'm feeling good, actually. My legs aren't too tired either, which is good. At this point, we were around 2 hours in and I was still feeling really energized and ready to do more. I think on social media, when everyone was complaining that this hike is so difficult, I think they were basing it purely on the first cliff. And yes, I know I hadn't completed the hike yet, but by this stage, we had done 3 out of the 7 sisters. And apart from the first sister, the rest of them weren't that bad. Now in that clip, I think I'm far away enough from the edge, but I do want to urge you not to be as close to the cliff edge as this woman is. Not only because obviously you can fall, but also because the cliffs are actually made from chalk, so they're really unstable and they just fall at any given moment. So please stay safe and stay as far away from the edge as possible. Now around 11 miles in, you'll start walking on this kind of grassy inland path, and it takes you to this weird crossroads. What's going on? We were all really confused. The left arrow looked like it would make the hike a bit longer, whereas the right arrow looked like it was going to be shorter.
What's going on? Eastbourne's 4.5 miles.
In the end, we had no clue. We just followed the crowd and went right. The path was called South Downs Way and is just past Burling Gap. Here we found an ice cream truck, but oh my goodness, the prices were extortionate. I was seeing £6, £8 for a regular cone.
We may be hungry, but we can manage our hunger.
Luckily enough, not far away, we found this little shop selling drinks and snacks, and everything here was way more affordable. Now, we were told that the end point of this hike was the lighthouse. And so when we saw this by the shop, we said, oh my gosh, we finished the hike. We had counted 7 cliffs, so we felt so accomplished. We decided to have lunch here and then figure out how we were going to get home. So we just eaten. You know what I mean? We thought we had done it. Because, I don't know, we counted 7 cliffs, so we thought we were done. Apparently. But that was not the lighthouse that we've just figured out. This is the lighthouse. We messed up. I think we counted our cliffs wrong, so it was back on the crusade. Now we were pretty tired. I think because we had lunch and we thought the hike was over, we relaxed a bit too much, and now to have to start this again was so painful. My legs were starting to feel really sore. I could feel the lactic acid, and yeah, I wanted to go home. This actually worked as motivation for us to speed up and try and finish this as soon as possible now. And thank God, because the route to the lighthouse was pretty downhill and pretty flat. One sister left. as far as we know. Plus, we saw these horses, and I feel like they're a sign to say, yes, you are near the end. And I cannot tell you how happy I was to finally see a road and buses and cars and civilization. We made it! We were so happy, but then we had to wait a long time for the bus. So here's the bus schedule. Try and time the end of your hike accordingly. This bus is going to take you to Eastbourne, not to Seaford where you started. But it doesn't matter because any train ticket allows you to take the train home from Eastbourne. Eastbourne station is only a 12-minute drive away, but if you were to go back to Seaford, it'd be around 25 minutes. We explored Eastbourne town a little bit and we had plans to go to the beach, but honestly, we were so tired, we just wanted to go home. So overall, as someone who has never hiked before, I would give the Seven Sisters Cliffs a 6 out of 10 in terms of difficulty. 3 of that 6 is because of the first cliff. The rest is sheerly because of the length. 23 kilometers is no small feat, and my legs definitely felt that the next day. I'm almost tempted not to call this a hike. I think it's just a very long walk. Yes, there are ups and downs, but a lot of it is flat and downhill. We started at 10:20 a.m. and finished at around 2:40 p.m. That means it took us 4 hours and 20 minutes to complete this, including the break that we had for lunch. And don't forget, we crossed the river, but if we didn't, it would have taken us much longer. I would absolutely recommend this hike to other non-hikers. It was challenging at times, but it was so doable and so worth it, especially for these views. My advice to you if you're doing this hike is to start early, bring a hat, check the tide levels before you do the hike, bring lunch, bring a mini towel for your feet, bring a swim costume if you want to swim, time the end of your hike with the bus times, and last but not least, make sure you look out for the right lighthouse. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to drop a like and a comment. And of course, if you want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks, guys. Bye.